It's really hard to believe that we can get this kind of money out of these types of items, but it happens for us all of the time. We just constantly sell these. Hey, it's Don. Today we're going to look at some of the items that make us a ton of money. Our bread and butter, the type of items that we routinely sell for some really good money. Let's hop over right now and show you what we're getting great money for right this very second. Now, one area I sell a lot of that a lot of people don't mess with are 78 records. I do extremely well with 78s. Usually never pay more than $1 for every single one, $1 or less. And most of the time I can get them for like a quarter or less if I buy a couple hundred at a time. Bulk-wise, bulk is always best. Now, I've got pricing structure, so I usually sell things in the same price range for the most part. This one I sent out an offer. It's been up for a little while. I was hoping it would sell during Christmas. It did not. I ended up taking $34.50 on this in an offer to a watcher. Very fine. They paid for shipping as well, and off it went. Another 78, this one did sell for full price, $34.50. Very fine with that. This is a Herb Jeffries. This is an early Tisco Tasco. And this is a vocal arrangement. This is a fairly common label. It's not something that's scarce. Again, $1 or less for any of these sorts. Now, uniforms, uniform pieces and buttons and things like that, I do very, very, very well in. Here's a nice Weschler and Abraham. This is a department store button. I've had a couple of these. They've all seemed to sell fairly well. This one went for $45. Can't complain on something like that. They pay for shipping. It's a uniform button off of someone's shirt or coat jacket. It's an early one, as you can see by the dates on there. Now, here's another interesting item. I talk about World's Fair items very, very often. This is from the World's Fair, 1893 Chicago World's Fair, and this is a Columbia Guards uniform button. The Columbia Guards were the, I guess, security to some extent that wore full-fledged military-style uniforms, and these are the buttons that garnished their uniforms across the fronts, the backs, tailcoats, and the whole works. This one went for $50. This is the fourth one from this type of uniform that I've sold in the last couple weeks. Now, a hot area right this second are anything related to hotels are selling like mad. People can't go out, they're not collecting and things like that, so hotel items are flying off. This is a shirt button from the Knickerbocker Hotel in New York City. This would have been on a uniform of an employee's coat, jacket, or something like that. It sold for $30. It's kind of nondescript. If you don't know enough how to look these types of things up, you may not have a clue what it is and sell it for almost nothing, not knowing. If you can't get the right keyword, the right title, it just won't sell. Now, dating things is super important. Had these not been so early, they wouldn't have sold for hardly anything. These are Cub Scout buttons here, but these date way back to the 20s through the 40s. I sold 2 of these for $20 a piece. The newer ones, you'll be lucky to get $2 for both of them. Here's another item from the 1893 World's Fair, the Columbian Exposition in Chicago again. This one did sell for $125. It sold for so much because of the awesome artwork on it, the patriotic flags, eagle, and the whole works. That is why someone bought this piece for $125. I got like $1 into this. It came with some postcards and things like that. Now, vintage Nintendo of any sort always sells extremely well for us. Now, this is missing his hat. This is Mario from 1989. This is the Applause US version. Now, had this been the Japanese version, probably would have got several $100s for it. I'm still happy with the $40. I paid a whopping $1 for this piece. Now, condition isn't always everything with a lot of the items that I sell because of this scarcity. Scarcity will overweigh the object itself's condition in many cases. This one has holes and damage of all sorts all over it, as you can see. It's crinkled, it's got a tear over here, it even has a chunk of paper hanging off of it. It's still sold for my list price for $34.50. Now, this was a given. Somebody gave me this because of the condition, as well as many others like this. So for me, once I get stuff like that, I usually assess the condition-wise when I get home. I'll assess whether it's rare enough to risk listing it up. You're wasting time if it's something that's not going to sell. This sort of thing here, though, we sell sell constantly. Now, many items we sell have value because of who is pictured on it. This is Oscar Wilde. He is the leader, the founder of the aesthetic movement. Now, he's dressed very typical for what you would find of pictures even from him as well. And this is a cigar tobacco advertising card as well. Stratton and Storms, very well-known tobacco manufacturer. It has some issues with it, though. It's even missing a corner. With shipping and all told, I believe we got $55 out of this card. I've sold a few of these. These do show up. They show up with trading cards. They show up in tobacco card collections as well, because that's what this is. So following along with the theme, here's Abraham Lincoln. This one sold because of Abe is on it. I got $50 for this card here, plus shipping. Now this is an advertising card, but a trade card as well. There's a whole set of these of every president. Lincoln goes for the most, also does Grant and Washington. Now, being able to identify and date your items, of course, is key, as I've said. Now, this here is a very early button from the 1870s or so. It's a fairly large one-piece Hunt Club button. Now, I listed it fairly high because it is an early one. It's got a unique scene. It's a large size button as well. I ended up selling this one for $95. I've got pennies into this. It was bought with a huge bulk lot. Now here's another fine early example from the 1840s or 50s. Let me show you the back. It has a fabulous eagle on the back, and it's marked by the Waterville Manufacturing Company. Scarce maker from this time frame here. I sold this one for $75. Happy with the sale. It's a nice, interesting, early style button. Now, we sell sheet music constantly. The earlier ones usually sell for the most. This is a large format sheet music from 1915. It does have an airplane pictured in the image. It did sell for $34.50. Rips, tears, tattered, it's dirty. It's split at the seam, but we still got $34.50 out of it. They paid for shipping, and they left good feedback. Now, I love advertising of any type. I buy pens and pencils constantly, and we get good money out of them. Some days we'll sell dozens of them to the very same person. Other days we may only sell one or two if we're lucky. Now, I've sold quite a few recently. Here's just one example. This is from Point Pleasant, West Virginia, and it's an advertisement for a bank, as you can see. It is just an old pen with advertising information on it. It did sell for $34.50. Now here's another one. I've sold quite a few of these Tennessee Farmers Co-op advertising pens. I want to say like 12 or 13 for at least $30 a piece. This one went for $34.50 as well. Happy with the sale. The person was happy with the pen. They're from that city. So for them, it's a local one. They probably know the person's name who's on it. Lewis Farmers Co-op. They sold fertilizer, seed, and things along that line. This is a typical example of some of the items we sell that I pay almost nothing for. Most of these sorts of pens and pencils, if you're at an estate sale, look in the drawers. You will find these quite often. Many times you can get a whole handful of them for just a couple of bucks. They don't see much value in these dirty, dingy ones. Most of the time they're dirty as well. So you don't mind cleaning them up. You don't mind listing them. You can make some good money off of these. Now, this last item here is another piece of advertising. This is a plate, a china plate from a local grocery store. Something that's been around for a very long time. The building, I do believe, is still standing. This is the 100th anniversary of it. It did sell for $25.99. I paid a whopping $1 for this because of the advertisement aspect. I don't mess with much china or plates, but most of the ones that are advertising or for transportation or list some specific thing on a specific building do carry some value, just like this one here. But anyway, that's what I have for you today. Well, there you have it. Hopefully that gave you some ideas, some thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified if I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell all your friends.
Assignment, danger. Your mission, find the master spy Your weapon, Secret Sam. Through Secret Sam's periscope, you see him, but he can't see you. You locate the master spy, you talk to him, and Secret Sam's hidden camera is taking his picture right now. Suddenly you're discovered. Secret Sam fires bullets from inside the case. Secret Sam has barrel extension. Special missile sends message to your partner. Mission accomplished. You hand over real photograph. Secret Sam with periscope, message missile, rifle stock, barrel extension, even shoots through this carrying case. And this real camera that works in secretly or out. Takes real photos. Secret Sam.